Hey superstars, welcome to the Get Rich Without Being a Bitch podcast, and I am your host Vanessa for this journey. We're going to be challenging some stereotypes, shattering glass ceilings, really looking at what it takes to live richly and to design a business that's going to support the life that you really want to be living. I'm going to be sharing lots of tips, tools, and strategies along the way, and I can't wait for you to join me on this journey. Hey superstars, welcome back to another episode of Get Rich Without Being a Bitch. Today, I want to touch on the topic of marketing and give a few pointers for you to think about, what needs to change, what needs to be upgraded, what's working and what's not working. Marketing in of itself is a really big topic. And the more marketing you do, or let's say the more effective your marketing is, the easier sales becomes. But let's remember that marketing is not sales, right? And sales is not marketing. Marketing is the conversation and the communication that happens prior to somebody being interested to buy from you. And then there's a whole other process, right, that kicks off the sales process. And in many of the businesses that we work with, that sales process tends to be a consultation, right? A conversation, an appointment. Let's come back to marketing. And I want to go over some pieces that might seem like basics, but perhaps there's some fundamentals here that are being missed. So a lot of people struggle with marketing. Like, what should I say? What should I do? What is it? Is it, online social media? Is it SEO? Is it networking? Is it speaking? Is it using the latest hot AI tools to write my blogs, my newsletters, my email campaigns, right? Yes, all of that is marketing. But the first thing I really want you to come back to, especially if you have been in business for a while, is to actually look at what's been working. You can do all of these things, but some of them might not be working. So again, a very, very simple example, working with a new attorney that we're working with. And she's like, well, I'm really not doing a lot for marketing, Vanessa. Perhaps I should be doing more. I'm like, well, tell me what you are doing. She says, well, I just put this one little ad in a local paper and it generates leads. And I really don't spend any money on it, right? She's like, and I've been doing it for ages. And I change this little thing up and then I offer different things, but it always generates leads. I'm like, why would you want to change that? Frankly, why? Or why are we complicating it? You've got something that's really working. Have you got the capacity to serve more clients? Why don't we improve what's already happening, right? And start from there. So with marketing, I would always encourage you first and foremost to analyze what are you doing? What are the things that generate leads for your business? And start to look at how can you be more effective inside of those things. Equally so, look at what your natural gifts and talents are. For some people, they love to speak, right? Speaking is so much easier for me than writing. It really is. When I look at a blank page, writing, I feel I get stilted, I lose some personality and energy. It's like something happens for me. And it's not that I'm particularly bad at writing. I just find speaking so much easier, right? So whether I can speak on a podcast, on my own podcast, run a free event where I could be speaking like a round table, sponsoring an event where I'm at the front of the room, being hired as a keynote, right? These are all different ways that I can use speaking as part of my marketing. And guess what? I also know that those are the ways that most of the clients actually come to us, right? So it's through speaking. So I need to be doing more of those and making sure that I'm in front of the right audiences. So you always want to go back to your natural talents because it's easy to go to those things. For me, if I said, oh my God, I'm going to write X amount of blogs and X amount of written articles and try and get them published in all of these different places, I'm going to procrastinate, right? It's not going to happen. But give me speaking gigs all day long. Now, when it comes though to marketing, let's come back to what's the purpose of it, right? The purpose is to educate and to add value. Marketing shouldn't be just promo, like promoting, which kind of sounds like buy me, right? That's just promotional. And there is a space inside of your marketing to be able to do that, right? We want to be able to make offers. We want to tell people about promotions, about new things that are coming up. But if that's all that we are doing, we'll tune out our champagne clients for sure. Clients are coming to us because they've got a goal that they want to hit or a problem that they want to solve, and they are not able to do so. And part of that gap in between those things is there's a lack of awareness, right? A lack of education. And so when your marketing can really help educate your market to start to solve different problems, and you demonstrate value, and particularly value free of charge, right? That's the whole piece. It's like this podcast. I'm the one that it puts, pays the expenses for it. I'm the one that invests. When you're listening free of charge for this, right? It's free content. But hopefully we start to solve some problems for people. And then they're like, wow, this is really valuable. Like, I'm going to listen to this again. I'm getting information, or I'm getting inspiration, right? I'm getting some energy from this. That is valuable to me. So they'll keep listening, and either two things are going to happen. And I'm okay, frankly, with either of these. They might just take that content and apply it and get great results and don't need to hire you. And some people are like really afraid of that. They're like, well, I'm giving away all this great content for free, and then people just take it and they use it, and then I don't get hired. I'm a firm believer in putting value out in the world and creating ambassadors as well, because you never know, right, who's been consuming your content, but who may be passing it on to somebody else and saying, wow, this really helped me. I applied this. I love what she said about that there. I got this result. Hey, you might want to listen. And then that next person actually wants to hire you for implementation. So don't be stingy, right, with your free content. Like, put all your good stuff out there. Here's also the secret to this. When you put out all your good stuff, what happens in the mind of those people that are listening and or consuming it? Like, wow, if this is the stuff I get for free, what would it be like to be on the inside and or working with them when I'm paying, right, for the service? In our minds, we just imagine naturally it's got to be so many times better. Now, the other thing is we put out free content and people come to the realization that they cannot apply it themselves, right? Or they need your expert guidance to really apply it to their situation. And again, caveat to this is I know that there's some of you listening. And again, particularly when you're in the professional services field, we have to be really careful, right, with the content that we're putting out there, because we can't have it construed as being, legal advice or these other things. And we need to make sure that we've got those disclaimers around it. And these are the reasons why people need to hire us, right, so that it's adapted to our situation. So that's going to happen when we put out that free content. It's like, be really, really generous. Here's the other thing that I can tell you as a content creator. The more free content that I put out there, the more it drives me to come up with new. It's like we've all got, and I'm sure you feel the same, you've got a lot of free stuff in you that just flows very freely. But you get to a point where you're like, wow, I've said this, I've shared this. What else? What else can I create, right? And it starts to really dig into your creativity and how can you produce new? So it really serves you as well as it does to your listeners and your consumers when you're putting free content out there, because you're going to start to create more and your creativity is going to get better and better. Now, just coming back to like your free stuff that you're going to put out there, one thing that is really important is probably the lesson that I've found from my written content versus my speaking is personality. I think sometimes we put content out there and all of a sudden we think we have to become somebody else. We're like, wow, but I need to sound professional, or I need to do this, right? Or I need to be like a trusted advisor. And all of a sudden we become like really buttoned up and we don't sound like ourselves and we lose personality. It is really important that through your marketing, you are being authentic. And frankly, the more authentic you can be, the better. Like, you really want to amplify your authenticity so that people know what they're buying into, right? I don't believe there's too many surprises when people hire me off of speaking. Like, they've heard the messages, they've seen my personality, they've seen me live. And when we work together kind of on the inside, it's pretty seamless. And that's how we want it to be. We want to show people on the outside what they're getting. Otherwise, it feels like a bait and switch. So amplify your personality, like really turn those things up, because you will attract the people for you. If you are outspoken, highly opinionated, right? You feel like you're very edgy with your content. There are people that are going to be super, super attracted to that. So again, amplify it. And in that amplification, make sure that you're really communicating what you stand for. It should be pretty clear from this podcast, again, what we stand for, right? We stand for empowering women financially. That's why it's get rich without being a bitch. We want to create a world where women are thriving financially, they're empowered around their finances, and they are loving themselves and their lives in the process. That is at the core of what we stand for, right? It's doing great work in the world, and it's you becoming the best version of you. Now, if that doesn't resonate with you, you're not going to buy. But I need to be really explicit in that, right? And not hold back, like this is what we stand for. So that some women are going to be repelled from that. There are going to be some women that can be, hey, she's all about the money. She's the get rich girl. She's always talking about this, whatever those stories are going to be. And that's okay, because I can't help everyone. And when we try to help everyone, or we try to please everybody through our marketing, this is where our marketing becomes very vanilla. It becomes very boring. Somebody else could have said the same things in a slightly different way, and there's no differentiation. So making sure that you have your personality in there, you've amplified it, you are talking about the things that you stand for unapologetically. Get loud and proud around those things. It helps to magnetize those people to you that really resonate that message, and it helps to repel. And this is where I think really good marketing works phenomenally well. I don't want to be spending time talking to people that haven't consumed my marketing, that don't know what I stand for, and then all of a sudden they're kind of shocked by it, right? I want my marketing to educate them, to add value, and for them to either self-select in or self-select out. And if my marketing does that, my sales become so much easier, really so much easier. So again, as a quick tip, I did this once for myself, by the way, and it was pretty scary. So just be prepared, because I was working with the branding and marketing team a few years ago. And she said, Vanessa, when was the last time you actually did an audit of your own marketing? And I was like, good question. I hadn't, right? I'd been putting it out there, but I hadn't stopped to take the pause and kind of go backwards and look at my marketing. And the minute I looked at it, I was like, oof, like my personality's disappeared. It's become vanilla. And frankly, I was reading my own stuff back then, and I was like, this is boring. I'm bored with it. Something needed to shift, and we changed some things. So I encourage you to do that, because if you are getting that, impression when you look at it, if you're like, this is vanilla, wow, this is so boring, this feels so dry, it's your time to get your personality back in there, right? Education, we're adding value, starting to solve some problems, help people achieve their goals. That's really, really great content. Great content informs, inspires, and helps people implement as well. And remember, what do you stand for, and amplifying your personality. So as always, superstars, I love this conversation with you. Love to know as well what's resonated today. Where are you at with your marketing? Where are you getting stuck? Where does it need to be energized? What part of your personality needs to come out, right, and shine more brightly so that you are really attracting your ideal champagne clients? Please leave a review. Share this with your besties in business as well so that they're getting great content. And I can't wait to catch you on the next episode.